Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our class. Ang atin pong topic sa araw na ito is self from the psychological perspectives. Ayan, at dito po, ito po yung pag-aralan natin. Meron pong 4, psychodynamic behaviorism, humanistic at saka existentialism. So sa psychodynamic theory of the self, ang pag-aralan natin dito ay si Sigmund Freud, si Carl Jung, at saka si Alfred Adler. Pagdating naman sa behaviorism, si Skinner at saka si Bandura. Then, when we talk about humanistic psychology, si Maslow naman at saka si Rogers. And then sa existentialism, si Viktor Frankl. So, umpisahan muna natin sa mismong salitang psychology. So, ang psychology po ay galing sa dalawang words na psyche means soul or mind and saka logos or study. So, therefore, it is a study of the mind. Ito po ay galing sa Greek words ng psyche at saka logos. Kaya nga po, pag sinabi nating psychology, it is defined as a scientific study of behavior and mental processes. So, ang self po is connected to behavior and our mental processes. So, dahil po ang psychology is a study of human behavior and mental processes, ang pag-aralan po natin dito when it comes to the study of the self ay yung personality ng isang tao. Ang personality po ay galing sa Latin word na persona. Ito po yung maskara na ginagamit ng mga actors in a play. So when it comes to our personality, ano ba yung mask na pinapakita natin sa iba or sa paligid nating ginagalawan? So therefore, as I said, pag self from the perspective of psychology, personality po ang pag-usapan. Okay, dadako na tayo unang-una sa psychodynamic theory. Ang psychodynamic theory po ay nakafocus sa unconscious ng isang tao. At sabi dito, unconscious govern human behavior. Ayan. Yan po ang pinapaniwalaan ng psychodynamic theory when it comes to personality. The unconscious or our unconscious forces govern our behavior. So kung titingnan natin dito, pag sinabi natin sa psychodynamic, of course, kailangan nating i-mention si Sigmund Freud kasi ito po talaga ay isa sa mga proponent ng psychodynamic theory. At yan po yung nakita ninyo, may conscious mind, which is nandun po siya sa taas ng iceberg. Ito yung iceberg natin. Then yung preconscious mind is beneath the iceberg, pero konti lang. Pero mostly meron tayong unconscious mind. Okay? Ito po yung pinaka mas malaking bahagi ng ating personalidad as a human being. So now let's start with Sigmund Freud. Sabi daw ni Sigmund Freud sa kanyang psychoanalytic theory or psychoanalysis that childhood events have great influence on our adult lives in shaping our personality. Kung ano daw yung mga events na nangyayari sa buhay natin nung tayo ay bata pa, ang laki po nito ng epekto sa pag-shape or pag-mold ng ating personality as a grown-up person. Kaya nga sinasabi ni Sigmund Freud, the child is the father of the man. Ayan. So, para sa kanya, ang self daw is an outcome, meaning to say result of the interaction between the three structures of personality. Kasi meron po siyang three structures of personality. Ito po yung id, ego, at saka superego. So, ang result nitong interaction na ito, I repeat, is ourself. Doon po nabubuo. So, ayan po yung three structures of personality. Ang ating pong id is pleasure principle. So, it seeks immediate gratification of impulses and ignores consequences. So, I want to do it now. So, halimbawa, inaantok ka ngayon. Sabi ng id mo, gusto mong matulog. So, wala siyang pakialam sa consequence. Para sa kanya, kailangan may immediate gratification. Si ego naman is reality principle. It is rational and thoughtful. So, pag sinabi ni id na I want to do it now, si ego as reality principle, sasabihin niya I have plan, or sasabihin niya na, teka lang, parang ang realidad ay nandito tayo sa classroom na to, therefore, kailangan muna nating tingnan kung anong gagawin natin. We can plan. So, ang trabaho ni ego is, as a reality principle ay, of course, satisfy niya si id, pero sa katanggap-tanggap naman na pamamaraan. Si superego naman, it is a moral principle. Ito po yung moral standard ng ating community or society. So, it is not right to do that, okay? So, si superego po yung moral principle na nagsasabing kung ano yung tama at mali, okay? So, pag sinabi ni id na ito yung gawin ko, sasabihin ni superego, wag muna. Kasi it is not right. So, nung tayo ay bata pa, si id po ang nandoon lang. Kaya nga ang bata pag umiiyak, gusto niyang, kung nagugutom, umiiyak agad siya. Kasi gusto niya ng gratification. Pag lumaki yung bata, nagkakaroon ng ego. Doon unti-unting nabubuo ang ego at saka yung super ego. Ayan. So, malinaw na po sa atin yung three structures of personality in the human psyche. Okay? In our mind or structures of our psyche. Ano po yung mangyayari dyan? Sa three structures of personality, si id po at saka si superego ay they have always in conflict with each other. So dahil sa conflict na ito, kung lalala yung conflict between these two, ang mangyayari po dyan ay magkakaroon ng anxiety. Kasi 'di ba si id ay gusto ng gratification agad, pero si superego is a morality principle. So kaya po kapag sila ay hindi magkasundo, ayun, nagkakaroon ng anxiety kapag ito po ay sobra-sobra na. Okay? At hindi na talaga mapigilan. Kaya nga ang trabaho po ng ego ay magbibigay siya ng shield. Okay? Isi-shield niya kasi reality principle siya. Kasi ang kanya pong responsibility is of course to satisfy id and superego at the same time na maging maayos naman yung kanilang yung pagkakagawa ng o maging maayos naman ang kahinatnan. So ang shield ang ego po ay magpo-produce ng shield in order to protect, para po when it comes to kapag nararamdaman ng tao yung tinatawag na anxiety. Okay, dahil nagkakaroon ng anxiety, nagsishield si ego. So, ang tawag po dito na shield ni ego against anxiety is defense mechanisms. Ito daw po is largely unconscious reactions na pinoprotektahan ang tao from unpleasant emotions such as anxiety and guilt. So, ito po yung trabaho ni ego. I repeat, si ego po ang nagsishield or gumagawa ng shield through defense mechanism against unpleasant emotions such as anxiety and guilt. So kung makikita po dito, meron siyang repression, denial, regression, projection, displacement, reaction formation, rationalization, sublimation, introjection, at saka fixation. Ano ba itong mga ito? So, ang repression po, ito yung unconscious lacking of unacceptable thoughts and feelings. Example, nung meron kang traumatic experience nung bata ka. So, in order to avoid this traumatic experience to cause anxiety, nire-repress natin sila. Pilit natin silang kinakalimutan kasi traumatic nga siya. Pangalawa po ay denial. Okay? Ito po ay pinaka well-known sa atin at nakarelate naman tayo. Ang denial po is a refusal to accept reality due to a painful experience. Dinideny natin. Like a person is arrested for drunk driving several times but deny he or she has problems with alcohol. Okay, dinideny. The next defense mechanism is regression. Nire-revert natin yung less mature way by adopting childish behavior. Like for example, when a person is overwhelmed with fear, he might or she might exhibit earlier childhood behaviors such as bedwetting, looking for motherly care, or eating comfort foods from childhood. Minsan yung iba, umiiyak, umagulhol, na parang bata. Okay? So, ang pang-apat po is projection. Okay? Projection is attribution of unacceptable thoughts or feelings to someone or something else. Example, you claim that your sister is mad at you, knowing that you are the one who is really mad at her. Okay? Meron din po tayong tinatawag na displacement. I-shift po natin yung feeling natin, thoughts, or action toward a more vulnerable target. So, when you get mad at your sister, you pick the dog instead. So, hindi mo masipa yung sister mo, sinisipa mo na lang yung dog. Kasi nga, doon mo na lang pinalabas sa kanya kasi hindi mo magawa doon sa sister mo o sa taong yon. Meron din po tayong reaction formation. Ito yung we adapt beliefs, attitudes, and feelings that are directly opposite to your own views. Like unconsciously we laugh, but inside, actually, we are very sad. Okay? We cry inside. Then after that rationalization, ito yung we attempt to justify one's action to dismiss unpleasant feelings. Example, you always cross the street using the pedestrian lane, but you know a lot of people who violate the law, so it is okay to do the same sometimes. We rationalize things para pagtakpan na hindi naman maganda yung ating ginawa. Then we also have sublimation. We redirect unacceptable drives into personally and socially acceptable channels, like channeling our anxiety through painting or exercising. Takot naman tayo pero dinadaan natin sa ibang paraan. Then after that, meron din tayong introjection. We incorporate positive qualities of another person in our own ego. Like when your neighbor tops the board exam, sinishare mo or yung achievement niya by saying he is or she is my neighbor. Okay? And then after that, fixation. Ito naman, very famous ito sa psychology. It is a process where an individual may be persistently focused on an early stage of psychosexual development because one's wishes are overgratified or undergratified. So, for example, when you see an adult who does thumbsucking, it is possible na yung adult na yon is orally fixated. So, meaning to say, perhaps hindi niya nagkaroon siya ng crisis during that time, hindi niya na-satisfy during that psychosexual development, kaya yung tao na yon is nagtatamsaking, okay? Ang sunod po nating pag-aralan ay si Carl Jung at ang kanya pong idea ay of course, belong pa rin siya sa psychodynamic but meron siyang analytical psychology. So, para kay Carl Jung, meron po siyang 3 components of the human psyche. The first one is the ego, At yung ego po is the conscious mind. Okay? The second one is the personal unconscious. Ang personal unconscious po, ito po yung hindi natin maalala kasi ito yung mga pangyayari sa buhay natin na na-repress siya. We repress maybe because ang mga experience na ito or nangyari sa buhay natin ay traumatic. Kaya may repression na nangyayari. So, the next one is the collective unconscious. Ang collective unconscious, ito yung mga bagay na nag-exist universally. Meaning to say, collectively, na makikita natin kahit saang society po tayo na belong. But these are unconscious because we might not aware of it. Hindi man natin siya basta-basta na nararanasan or na intindihan, pero ito yung mga bagay na nag-govern sa ating even our ideas or even the ideas of the society. So collective siya kasi nga it exists or ito ay umiiral kahit saang society ka na belong. Like for example, when we talk about heroism, okay? Lahat po ng society na to ay meron siya and even though we are not conscious of it, nandyan siya eh. Common siya sa lahat. Okay. So, si Carl Jung, ito yung contribution niya na wala doon kay Sigmund Freud, yung the collective unconscious. At kung nakita niyo dito, yung collective unconscious niya na idea, belong doon yung tinatawag na archetypes. Okay? So, yung archetypes is na nasa gitna, na nakadilaw, is belong to the collective unconscious. Meaning to say, it exists whatever society you have from the past until now. So, yung archetypes na to, ito yung mga archaic na innate siya, na hindi man natin siya, na ito po yung namamana natin from the past until now. So, from the ancient time until now. Kaya nga archetypes. It is a collective unconscious na it passed through generation to generation. Okay? So, galing sa kanununuan, kaya archaic siya. Which is universal. Pag sinabi archaic, very ancient. Okay? Mula noon hanggang ngayon, namamana natin siya. Kaya nga si Carl Jung ay hindi naniniwala sa tabula rasa kasi nga para sa kanya, meron tayong collective unconscious which is an archetypes or archetypes na nanggaling pa sa kanununuan natin at pinapasa through generation to generation. Kaya nga 'di ba sa atin sa society natin as Filipinos, meron tayong hospitality, right? Unconsciously hindi man natin siya kaagad maisip, pero kung titingnan nyo, it always pass from generation to generation. So, namamana daw ang archetypes. At yung archetypes na yun, binubuo yun ng 4. Okay, main archetypes. Pero bago ang lahat, explain muna natin dito yung components of the human psyche according to Jung. Okay, kung titingnan niyo dyan sa labas, merong ego or conscious. And then, beneath that, sa kabilang circle, the next circle is personal unconscious. And then, sa pinaka baba o sa pinaka center, yan yung collective unconscious. Kung makikita ninyo, yung mga archetypes na yan, meron siyang consciousness but mostly or preconscious, but mostly collective unconscious siya. So, ayan. Ang main archetypes, babalik tayo sa archetypes. Ang main archetypes according to yung is persona, anema, anemos, shadow, and the self. Okay, isa-isahin natin. Ano ba yung persona? Ang persona, ito yung from the word personality or persona means mask. Ito yung maskara na pinoportray natin sa mga taong nakasalamuha natin. So, meron tayong iba't ibang mask. At yung mask na ito, bakit siya collective unconscious or archetypes? Kasi nga, ang ating society, meron tayong mga namana na mga beliefs or anumang dapat nating gawi or even how we behave na naaayon siya sa society na namamana natin from generation to generation. Pag sinabi naman nating anema or anemos, lahat daw tayo, meron daw tayong anema or feminine part, meron din tayong masculine part or yung tinatawag na anemos. So, sa ating pagkatao, meron tayong we care, and that is anema, right? Being feminine, we care, we nurture, then we have also masculinity that is present in us, na namamana natin from generation to generation. And it is always portrayed or ano man yung gustong society na dapat nating gawin. Being feminine and being masculine. And then, meron din tayong shadow. Ang itong shadow class, ito po yung yung unconscious part na meron sa atin na pilit nating hindi inaalala or nire-repress natin kasi nga hindi sila kaaya-aya. So, kaya nga, we always, pag shadow kasi tinatago natin sila, okay? So, meron daw tayo dyan and it is, ang ano daw dito, yung kalakihan nito ay unconscious, okay? Now, ano ba yung self according to Carl Jung? Kung makikita nyo dyan, yung self ay binubuo ng yung tatlong circle na yan. Ayan, yun yung self mo. So, ang self po ay binubuo yung tatlo. Yun yung kabuuang ikaw. Kaya nga kay Carl Jung, importante yung self-realization. Dapat ma-realize mo yung mga bagay-bagay, yung nakapaloob lahat dyan sa'yo, whether your consciousness, your personal unconscious, at saka yung archetypes, okay? Na kapag meron tayong tinatawag na self-realization, ayun, mas unti nating naintindihan or fully naintindihan natin yung ating self. So, yung self po dyan is kabuuan ng lahat na yan, okay? So, meron tayong 4 main archetypes. The persona, the anima and animos within us, yung shadow, pero meron tayong kabuuan which is the self, okay? Yun yung kabuuan tayo. Okay, so yan. So the totality of all 3 circles symbolizes the self. It includes both personal and collective unconscious images and thus should not confuse with the ego, which represents consciousness only. Huwag nating i-confuse siya sa ego kasi it is only one part among the other parts that compose the self. So, sinabi ni Carl Jung, the self is the archetype of archetypes because it pulls together the other archetypes and unites them in the process of self-realization. Kailangan nating i-unite. Kapag na-unite natin yon, then yung lahat ng archetypes, then it is what we call self-realization. Like the other archetypes, it possesses conscious and personal unconscious components, but it is mostly formed by collective unconscious images. Okay, kahit binubuo siya ng conscious and personal unconscious, mostly collective unconscious siya. Okay, ngayon naman pupunta tayo kay Alfred Adler. Para kay Adler, sa kanyang individual psychology, ang pinaka-goal daw ng tao is conquest, perfection, security, and superiority. So every child is faced with so many obstacles in life that no child ever grows up without striving for some form of significance. In other words, ang pinaka-goal ng tao o ng isang bata is to strive for superiority. Kasi nga daw, why our main drive is to strive for superiority? Kasi nga daw, we felt inferior. Meron tayong tinatawag na inferiority feelings na nag-start siya when we were children, okay? Nung bata pa tayo. Kasi nakita natin yung parents natin, okay, na-experience natin sa kanila na mas superior sila sa atin. At totoo naman yan. Kahit sa ang society, meron talaga tayong tinitingnan na mas superior sa atin na gusto nating maging kagaya sa kanya, okay? Doon daw nag-originate yung inferiority feelings. Mean to say, I am not good. There are people who are good than me. So, nagkakaroon ako ng inferiority feelings. Kay Adler, hindi naman siya masama na may inferiority feelings because in that way, we actually strive to be superior, to be competent. Kaya nga after dyan, may inferiority feelings tayo, meron tayong tinatawag na compensation. We compensate. So, we do our best, we try hard, we study, we become good in whatever talent we have, kung anong skill na gusto natin gawin, we compensate. We do our best, to be the best version of who we are. And in that compensation, ang maganda sa compensation is meron tayong social interest dito. And then after that, it becomes superiority. Ang superiority po is equivalent to competence. Naging competent tayo in a positive way dahil gusto nating maging the best. Kasi nga, we have that kind of inferiority feelings. Now, ang problema lang dito, kapag ang inferiority feelings ay naging na siya, sobra na at talagang down na tayo at it becomes, very negative na talaga. Na parang, ayun na, ang tingin natin sa sarili natin na talagang wala talaga tayo at hindi tayo magiging something. Di ba sometimes may mga tao na iniisip nila na wala talaga. Kumpara sa iba, wala talaga ako. Dinadaon ng sarili. Ang problema dito, ang inferiority feelings naging inferiority complex. At dahil dyan, nagiging overcompensate siya. Anong kaibahan nito? Yung overcompensation, of course, gagawin pa rin niya ang lahat pero wala na siyang pakialam sometimes para lang sa sariling interest, para lang mapunan niya yung inferiority complex na meron siya at nagiging superiority complex ito. Kaya 'di ba may mga iba na halimbawa pinagyabang mo ng in a negative way na ay ganun ako. Ako ang pinakamalakas dito, ako ang alam mo yung ganon, yung nakarelate naman tayo. That might be a sign of superiority complex, yung pagyayabang. It is different from superiority kasi ang superiority is very positive. Ang superiority complex, hindi siya positive. So, ganun daw, as a student or anuman, I think it is important that kung merong inferiority feelings tayo, okay lang yun. Kasi, ibig sabihin, hindi tayo the best. And after that, we compensate. We do our best in a positive way and then we become competent in that way. Okay? Ganun daw ang tao. We strive for superiority. But it should be in a positive way.
Ngayon naman, dadakot po tayo sa behaviorism. And ang behaviorism po ay nakapokus hindi po sa mental processes ng isang tao, kung hindi po sa tinatawag na overt behavior. Kasi doon lang po natin maintindihan ang tao kung ano ang personalidad niya, kung ano siya, based doon sa kanyang kinikilos. Hindi po ito yung nasa isip kasi hindi naman daw nakikita yung mental processes. Kaya mas nakafocus sila sa behavior ng isang tao, yung kanyang ginagawa at pinapakita. So, ang founder po dito is si John Watson, and dito po sa behaviorism, ang atin pong pag-usapan ay dalawa. Of course, andito si P.F. Skinner, and then pag-usapan din natin si Albert Bandura. So, mag-start tayo kay B.F. Skinner at meron siyang operant conditioning. Okay, ang personality daw ng isang tao or ang behavior ng isang tao ay nabubuo siya through what we call the operant conditioning. Yun po ang paniniwala niya. So, ano ba ang operant conditioning? Ito po yung instrument of or a theory of learning where behavior is influenced by its consequences. So, nakadepende daw po ang behavior ng tao doon sa consequence na natatanggap niya. Okay? So, yun po ang malinaw. Kaya dito po sa operant conditioning, okay, ang behavior daw ay nauulit kapag merong reward at hindi na siya basta-basta nauulit pa kapag daw may punishment na natatanggap. So, dito po sa operant conditioning, meron pong 5 principles. Okay? Hinahati po ito sa reinforcers, punishers, at saka extinction. Okay? Ang reinforcers po, meaning to say reward. Okay? Punishers is punishment. So, unang-una daw, okay, kung babalikan natin, yung behavior daw ay nauulit kung meron itong base ito sa reinforcers o reward na tinatawag. So, meron ditong dalawa. Unang-una yung positive reinforcement. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Simple lang po. Yung behavior ay nauulit siya kasi meron pong reward na binibigay sa isang tao based kung ano yung ginawa niya. So, kung maganda ang ginawa niya, maganda po ang may reward na matatanggap. For example, yung sa kinder, di ba? Kung titingnan mo sa kinder, meron po diyang mga bata na kapag nag-drawing sila, ang nangyayari po doon, nilalagyan sila ng star. So, dahil nilalagyan sila ng star, mas lalo pa silang gumagawa ng maganda. Sa reinforcers din, meron din siyang negative reinforcement. Ang negative reinforcement po ay iba sa positive reinforcement kasi dito sa negative reinforcement, ang nire-remove niya yung unpleasant, okay, stimulus. Anong ibig sabihin nun? For example, doon sa classroom, yung mga bata doon na hindi makapag-focus kasi sobrang ingay yung labas, okay, dahil merong nagkukumpuni ng table or ano man yan. So, or di kaya mainit yung classroom. So, para magiging kaya-aya ang behavior na ipakita ng estudyante, ang gagawin mo doon ay nire-remove niya yung unpleasant stimulus. Ano ba yon? Yung ingay at saka yung ingay at saka yung init. So, magkakaroon ng electric fan para po maging maganda yung kahinatnan ng behavior ng isang tao. So, meron din po tayong punishers or punishment. Dito po, meron pong positive punishment at saka negative punishment. Ang positive punishment po ay halimbawa yung ang nire-remove dito ay yung ginawa na bata ng hindi maganda. So, nire-reprimand agad. For example, pag ang bata ay hindi nakikinig, ang ginagawa, pinapagalitan. Okay? Pinapagalitan agad yung bata. So, dahil pinapagalitan siya, tumitigil siya. Pero meron naman talagang iba, hindi tumitigil, di ba? Iba-iba naman din ang personality or behavior ng bata. Ang negative punishment naman ay, ang ginagawa po dito ay, nire-remove niya yung pleasant stimulus para po hindi na ito magawa ng bata kasi meron siyang hindi magandang ginawa. Halimbawa, dahil hindi nag-aral yung bata, ang gagawin po, i-remove yung video games sa kanya. So, dahil gusto ng bata yung video games, yun po ang nire-remove sa kanya. So, ang tawag po doon, negative punishment. So, at panglima, meron pong extinction. Okay? Extinction. Kapag halimbawa, may reward and punishment, pag punishment, ang nangyayari doon, hindi na po siya nauulit. Okay? Ang gagawin ng bata. So, ito yung naniniwala si Skinner about yung behavior daw na si shape ang behavior natin base sa operant conditioning, reward and punishment. So, merong mga time na at ano naman ito, makikita naman natin even sa lahat nating ginagawa, di ba? Kahit sa trabaho, kapag halimbawa pinipraise ka ng amo mo or may reward kang natatanggap, mas gaganahan kang gawin ito. Kapag pinapagalitan ka naman, you avoid na hindi mo siya gagawin. So, doon na si shape yung personality ng tao. Now, pupunta naman tayo. So, dito, meron ding tatlong condition sa process ng operant conditioning. Unang-una, may antecedent. Then, ang antecedent po, ito yung bago nangyari yung behavior, okay? Then, after that, yung behavior. Then, after that, yung consequence, okay? So, yung antecedent refers to the environment which the behavior takes place, while the consequence is the reinforcement or it could be punishment. So, ganun po ang nangyayari. A, B, C lang, okay? Yun po yung proseso ng operant conditioning. May antecedent, may behavior, at saka may consequence. Ngayon, pupunta naman tayo kay Bandura ng kanyang social learning theory. So, sabi ni Bandura, nag-agree siya kay Skinner na ang behavior daw ay natutunan, pero hindi siya agree doon sa idea ni Skinner na reinforcement. Bakit? Okay, pag-usapan muna natin yung core concept ng social learning theory. So, naniniwala ang social learning theory that people can learn through observation. Okay? Natututo tayo sa pag-observe. Through observing someone or something. Then, number 2, mental states are important for learning. So, kanina, okay? So, ang mental state natin or yung ating kapasidad na mag-isip, yung ating utak, ay napakalaking contribution sa pag-mold ng ating behavior. Number 3, learning does not necessarily lead to behavior change. Kahit natutunan natin siya, hindi ibig sabihin na nag-change yung behavior natin. There are also possibility na mag-change. But hindi sa lahat ng oras. So, balik doon sa tanong na hindi siya naniniwala sa operant conditioning or reinforcement kasi para sa kanya, we learn our behavior through observing others which we call models. Okay? So, doon daw tayo natututo. Yung mag-observe sa others na ang ibig ng tawag doon ay models. Kagaya niyan, yung nanay ang model, yung bata yung gumagaya sa model niya, which is yung nanay. Doon natututo yung tao. So, meron daw 3 basic models of observational learning. Merong 3 models. Dito natin matututunan yung behavior natin. We learn from them. Ang una po is live model. Ito yung actual people na nakasalamuhan natin. It could be our parents, kung saan sa society, kasama natin sa bahay, o sino man yan. Verbal instruction model, ito yung mga description ng personality or behavior na natututunan natin. Pangatlo, yung symbolic model, ito yung mga nasa libro. Characters, Harry Potter, o yung napapanood natin sa television like Dragon Balls, sa Slam Dunk, o ano man yan. So, ito yung symbolic model. So, live model, verbal instruction model, and symbolic model. Ito po yung process ng observational learning. Okay? Number 1, kasi 'di ba yung model yung tinitingnan natin, we pay attention to the model. Okay? Pangalawa, retention. Inaalala natin or nare-recall natin kung ano yung na-observe natin. Pangatlo, reproduction. Dito, ginagaya na natin. Kasi una, nag-pay attention tayo na nalalaman natin or na-retain natin sa utak natin or naalala natin at hindi lang yon, we remember, okay? Yung action ng model. And then reproduction is ginagaya natin, pero sabi ni Bandura, hindi daw maging successful kung wala tayong motivation. So, sa lahat ng bagay, kailangan natin ng motivation. If you are not motivated, you will not pay attention, you will not retain, and you will not, hindi mo siya gagayahin, or you will not mimic it, or replicate the behavior. So, importante ang motivation. So, yun yung proseso ng observational learning. Dadako naman tayo sa humanistic psychology. Sa humanistic psychology, pinapahalagahan nila yung holistic approach, or ito yung ang pinapahalagahan po nila ay yung free will at saka yung potential for personal growth ng isang individual. Kasi naniniwala sila that human being ay meron siyang will to improve and to be the best version of himself or herself. So, yun yung potential or for personal growth ang tinitingnan. Dito, ang pag-usapan po natin ay dalawa. Si Abraham Maslow at saka si Carl Rogers. So, mag-unahin muna natin si Abraham Maslow. Naniniwala siya that people are motivated by the hierarchy of needs. Okay? Later on, titingnan natin kung ano yung hierarchy of needs. Then, naniniwala siya that the peak of that hierarchy of needs is our ultimate goal, which is self-actualization. It is the realization of one's potential. Yung ano bang gusto nating maging, okay? If we like painting, then we will become a very good painter, okay? Yun yung isa sa self-actualization. So, ito yung hierarchy of needs niya ni Maslow. So, naniniwala siya that people are motivated through the hierarchy of needs. So, dito po sa baba, meron po siyang physiological needs, safety needs, and then, ito yung dalawa na ito ay tinatawag na deficiency needs or D needs. Kailangan kasi natin sila para mabuhay. Kailangan natin ng food, water, warm, rest, security, and safety para sa ating sariling kapakanan. Okay? So, dito daw, nag-uumpisa ang lahat according to him. Kailangan nating i-satisfy ito at dahil ito talaga ang kailangan muna. Then after that, belongingness and love needs, we need intimate relationships, friends, and then we also have esteem needs, prestige and feeling of accomplishment, and then we have self-actualization sa taas. Ito yung achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Ang tawag dito is growth needs or the being needs. So, itong sa baba, ang sabi doon ni Maslow is, Yun yung motivation natin. Ang pinaka-goal natin is self-actualization, but kailangan muna nating i-satisfy yung mga nasa baba bago sa taas. So, kailangan natin ng food para mabuhay, safety and security, belonging needs and love needs, esteem needs. But, meron din daw mga time na hindi naman ito nasusunod. It doesn't mean na pyramid siya, kailangan mo nang i-fully satisfy. Minsan kasi may iba, wala silang makain, pero, or kulang sila sa food, walang bahay. When it comes to safety, hindi naman sila safe, but they are actualizing, right? Na ano nila yung self-actualization. May mga ganun naman din daw. Pero ang sinabi lang ni Maslow that we are motivated through the hierarchy of needs. Okay? From basic needs to growth needs na tinatawag. So, si Carl Rogers naman, okay, meron siyang idea of self-concept. Ito yung how you see yourself as a person. Okay? So, ang three parts daw ng self-concept is binubuo siya ng ideal self. It is the person you want to be. Kaya nga ideal siya eh. Kumbaga wala pa siya sa atin. Ito yung pinaka gusto nating maging tayo. So, part din ng self-concept, yung self-image, it refers to how you see yourself at this very moment. Ano bang tingin mo ngayon sa sarili mo? Yan yung self-image mo. So, meron daw tayong ideal self, may self-image tayo, meron din daw tayong self-esteem. Self-esteem is how much you like, accept, and value yourself that will contribute to your self-concept. Okay? So, meron tayong ideal self, self-image, and self-esteem. So, itong tatlo na to, binubuo yung self-concept natin. So, ang nangyari dyan, okay, maaring nagkakaroon ng incongruence at saka congruence. So, ang self-concept na natin can be aligned with reality or not aligned. For example, yung ideal self natin or the person that we want to be is congruent to the reality that we have, okay, right now. So, meron siyang congruency na nangyayari. Congruent siya. So, when it is aligned, it is said to be congruent. If it is aligned with reality. Kung saan tayo ngayon. If there is a mismatch between how you see yourself o yung self-image natin and who you wish you were at yung ideal self natin, your self-concept is incongruent. So, yung tingin natin sa sarili natin ngayon, yung how we see ourselves, which is our self-image, is hindi siya aligned doon sa ating ideal self. Therefore, incongruent siya. Hindi siya aligned. So, ang incongruence na ito daw can negatively affect our self-esteem. Okay? So, halimbawa, yung ideal self natin, gusto nating maging ganito. Pero ang tingin natin sa sarili natin ay we are not capable of reaching it. Then, it will affect our self-esteem. So, yung capacity natin na tanggapin, ayan, to like, and value who we are. So, ano bang gawin natin? Dapat congruent siya. Meron siyang alignment. Kasi kung hindi, incongruent sa mangyayari. And it can affect our self-esteem. Yung confidence natin sa sarili, yung how we like ourselves. Okay? So, last is existentialism. Existentialism actually, ang naniniwala sila of man's freedom and we are responsible for our lives as a human being. So, dito ang pag-aralan natin is si Viktor Frankl. So, naniniwala si Frankl that human person is motivated by a will to meaning. Lahat daw tayo, ang gusto lang naman natin is para magkaroon ng meaning ang buhay natin. naghahanap tayo ng kahulugan ng buhay. Yun ang motivation natin. Hanapin yung kahulugan ng buhay natin. So, naniniwala dito, meron siyang idea of logotherapy, and ito yung core properties, that each person has a healthy core. That life offers purpose and meaning but does not promise fulfillment of happiness, okay? Although we are not happy, but we are finding meaning with it. Or kahit masaya ka, may meaning pa rin. So, one's primary focus is to enlighten others to their own internal resources and provide them tools to use their inner core. Merong kalakasan. Kahit anong problema ang dumating sa buhay natin, we can still find meaning kasi meron tayong healthy core. So, para kay Frankel, meron daw ditong methods of finding meaning. Number 1, creative value. By creating a work or accomplishing a task. Okay? Number 2, experiential value. Receiving something from the world through appreciation and gratitude by fully experiencing something or loving someone. And then, by attitudinal value, by adopting a certain attitude toward inevitable suffering. Ayan po. So, ito yung panghuli. Who am I based on the psychological perspective of the self?